Attorney General Paxton, please rise. Clerk, please read the articles of impeachment, one at a time, preferred by the House of Representatives.
Articles of impeachment. Article 1, disregard of official duty, protection of charitable organization. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the duties of his office by failing to act as public protector of charitable organizations as required by Chapter 123 Property Code. Specifically, Paxton caused employees of his office to intervene in the lawsuit brought by the Roy F. and Joanne Cole Mitt Foundation against several corporate entities controlled by Nate Paul. Paxton harmed the Mitt Foundation in an effort to benefit Paul.
Senator Paxton, how do you plead?
Attorney General Ken Paxton is innocent and therefore pleads not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 2, disregard of official duty, abuse of the opinion process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to issue written legal opinions under Subchapter C, Chapter 402 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton caused employees of his office to prepare an opinion in an attempt to avoid the impending foreclosure sales of properties belonging to Nate Paul or business entities controlled by Paul. Paxton concealed his actions by soliciting the chair of a Senate committee to serve as straw requestor. Furthermore, Paxton directed employees of his office to reverse their legal conclusion for the benefit of Paul.
Those allegations are untrue, therefore he pleads not guilty.
I didn't mean to step on you. You want to repeat that?
The allegations that I just heard are untrue, therefore Ken Paxton pleads not guilty.
Thank you.
Article 3, disregard of official duty, abuse of the open records process. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to administer the Public Information Law, Chapter 552 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton directed employees of his office to act contrary to law by refusing to render a proper decision relating to a public information request for records held by the Department of Public Safety, and by issuing a decision involving another public information request that was contrary to law and applicable legal precedent.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Everything she just said there was false. Therefore, Attorney General Ken Paxton pleads not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 4, disregard of official duty, misuse of official information. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official power to administer the Public Information Law, Chapter 552 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton improperly obtained access to information held by his office that had not been publicly disclosed for the purpose of providing the information to the benefit of Nate Paul.
Attorney General, how do you plead?
Your Honor, those are all untrue. Therefore, Ken Paxton pleads not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 5, disregard of official duty, engagement of CAMIC. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by violating the laws governing the appointment of prosecuting attorneys pro tem. Specifically, Paxton engaged Brandon Camick, a licensed attorney, to conduct an investigation into a baseless complaint during which Camick issued more than 30 grand jury subpoenas in an effort to benefit Nate Paul or Paul's business entities.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
The Attorney General is innocent and therefore pleads not guilty.
The clerk will read the next article.
Article 6, disregard of official duty, termination of whistleblowers. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the duties of his office by terminating and taking adverse personnel action against employees of his office in violation of this state's whistleblower law, Chapter 554 Government Code. Specifically, Paxton terminated employees of his office who made good faith reports of his unlawful actions to law enforcement authorities. Paxton terminated the employees without good cause or due process and in retaliation for reporting his illegal acts and improper conduct. Furthermore, Paxton engaged in a public and private campaign to impugn the employees' professional reputations or prejudice their future employment.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Everything she said there, sir, is legally and factually incorrect, and therefore Attorney General Ken Paxton pleads not guilty.
The clerk will read the next article.
Article 7, misapplication of public resources, whistleblower investigation and report. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused public resources entrusted to him. Specifically, Paxton directed employees of his office to conduct a sham investigation into whistleblower complaints made by employees whom Paxton had terminated, and to create and publish a lengthy written report containing false or misleading statements in Paxton's defense.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
The allegations she just referenced are untrue, therefore the Attorney General pleads not guilty.
The clerk will read the next article.
Article 8, disregard of official duty settlement agreement. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by concealing his wrongful acts in connection with whistleblower complaints made by employees whom Paxton had terminated. Specifically, Paxton entered into a settlement agreement with the whistleblowers that provides for payment of the settlement from public funds. The settlement agreement stayed the wrongful termination suit and conspicuously delayed the discovery of facts and testimony at trial to Paxton's advantage, which deprived the electorate of its opportunity to make an informed decision when voting for Attorney General.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
The Attorney General is innocent of those charges and pleads not guilty.
The clerk will read the next article.
Article 9, constitutional bribery, Paul's employment of mistress. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in bribery in violation of Section 41, Article 16, Texas Constitution. Specifically, Paxton benefited from Nate Paul's employment of a woman with whom Paxton was having an extramarital affair. Paul received favorable legal assistance from or specialized access to the Office of the Attorney General.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Those allegations are flat out false. The Attorney General pleads not guilty.
The clerk will read the next article.
Article 10, constitutional bribery, Paul's providing renovations to Paxton home. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in bribery in violation of Section 41, Article 16, Texas Constitution. Specifically, Paxton benefited from Nate Paul providing renovations to Paxton's home. Paul received favorable legal assistance from or specialized access to the Office of the Attorney General.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Those allegations are offensive and false. The Attorney General pleads not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 15, false statements in official records, whistleblower response report. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton made false or misleading statements in official records to mislead both the public and public officials. Specifically, Paxton made or caused to be made multiple false or misleading statements in the lengthy written report issued by his office in response to whistleblower allegations.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Stand by that report and therefore plead not guilty.
Your Honor, objection is simply that if he wants to take the stand and testify, we'll welcome that. But otherwise, this is supposed to be a plea from the client. He can enter a plea of not guilty for his client. He can't make speeches as he's doing now, and I object. I ask that he just be instructed to plead not guilty or guilty, whichever he chooses, but not to be making speeches through his lawyer.
Sustained. Clerk will read the next charge.
Article 16, conspiracy and attempted conspiracy. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton acted with others to conspire or attempt to conspire to commit acts described in one or more articles.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Absolutely not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 17, misappropriation of public resources. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton misused his official powers by causing employees of his office to perform services for his benefit and the benefit of others.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Again, Your Honor, not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 18, dereliction of duty. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton violated the Texas Constitution, his oaths of office, statutes, and public policy against public officials, acting contrary to the public interest by engaging in acts described in one or more articles.
Attorney General, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Clerk will read the next article.
Article 19, unfitness for office. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton engaged in misconduct, private or public, of such character as to indicate his unfitness for office as shown by the acts described in one or more articles.
Attorney General, how do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Clerk will read the following article.
Article 20, abuse of public trust. While holding office as Attorney General, Warren Kenneth Paxton used, misused, or failed to use his official powers in a manner calculated to subvert the lawful operation of the government of the state of Texas and obstruct the fair and impartial administration of justice, thereby bringing the office of Attorney General into scandal and disrepute to the prejudice of public confidence in the government of this state, as shown by the acts described in one or more articles.
Attorney General Paxton, how do you plead?
Your Honor, the Attorney General is innocent, and we plead not guilty.
You may be seated.